The regular season and the winter showdown are complete. And now all that stands in the way of these 12 drivers going for a championship are 10 races at 10 very unique racetracks, all culminating at the Darlington Raceway on August 31st for the Meliello Southern 500. This is the first race of that championship chase, and we're here in the Windy City. We're about 30 miles out of the Windy City at the Chicagoland Speedway. This is a traditional race in the Wawa Cup Series. We've been coming here nearly every season in the Cup Series on the channel. And once again, we're here on the 4th of July for the SiriusXM 400, the first race of the 2025 Wawa Cup Series Chase. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Chicagoland Speedway here in Joliet, Illinois. We are here to begin the 2025 chase for the Wawa Cup. 12 drivers, 10 races, and 1 champion. They'll come at the Darlington Raceway on August 31st, so we're 2 months away, less than 2 months away from crowning a champion. These next 2 months are going to be a heck of a lot of fun for us, the viewer, but maybe a bit nerve-wracking for these 12 drivers, because a lot can go wrong and a lot can go right in these 10 races, and we start with one of the wilder mile-and-a-half racetracks that we have. This is a very difficult place to make a pass, but we tend to see a lot of wrecks here as well at times. It can be a wild race, and who knows how this one's going to play out here for our 23rd race of the season. Joined alongside a couple of owners who have drivers in this chase, Stuart Gretton and Nathan Stapleton. And Stuart, I'm going to start off with you. Perfect start for Ludovic Strat here in this event. Starts on the pole, her 5th pole of the season there for your team there at Groton Autosport. What does she need to do in this race to hold on to that first position and have a shot at overtaking Paulus in the points going to her next race at Road America?
Well, the first thing that she has to do is get off to a good start, nice and clean, because Chicagoland, it's not the easiest track in terms of intermediate speedways to actually overtake. We saw last year, I think there was only one change for the lead, and that was, Hubert led a lot of laps, and obviously Troxel, who starts on the outside pole, ended up winning the race. It's not the easiest track to overtake. So if you get off to a good start, if the 51 gets off to a good start, then it sets her up quite nicely, avoids all the chaos that can happen behind. And then, of course, you got to nail the pit stops. You got to get the right strategy. You got to make sure you don't make mistakes on pit road, all that kind of stuff. And you know, the car is clearly quick enough, and I think that's been the case all year. Obviously, winning the regular season championship, albeit being second in points because Paulus had more wins. So, I think that she's in a very good position here to capitalise. Paulus starts from 9th, and we'll see what those two can do, because those two are top 2 in points for a reason.
And of course, Nathan, you have a driver in the chase as well, Travis Crampton. Had an excellent season, but only 1 win that came at Homestead. Mile-and-a-half racetrack earlier on in the season. He starts 12th here tonight. We have some of those chase drivers starting on that outside lane. What do they need to do in order to have a good opportunity later on in this race to start off this chase on the right foot going in to the rest of the season?
Well, you mentioned that we got some chase drivers still on the outside lane, and that's not the best place to be, but the good thing about Chicagoland, it can be a little bit of a multi-groove racetrack. The outside lane can kind of challenge, and sometimes can actually make some passes on the outside. So it's not impossible. It's fairly challenging, but for the chase drivers starting on the outside, they just have to survive here early on. This track is known for being a little bit chaotic at the start, and everyone is double file, and we just have to hopefully have everyone make it out alive off turn 4 for the first time here tonight. And I'm excited to get this one going. It's been a fun season and a good season for Travis Crampton. And I bet everyone wants to try and beat Paulus, but we just got to wait and see how chaotic the chase goes this time around here in the Wawa Cup Series.
And here we are again, our 3rd run in this Wawa Cup Series chase. Our past champions are Drew Webb and Ludovic Strat. And Ludovic, last year, didn't even get a second win until the chase started. So she's only got that 1 win coming into this race, but she's got a lot of momentum, and she's good on those road courses as well. So watch out for Ludovic, and of course watch out for Daniel Paulus Jr., who has won pretty much every intermediate race since the beginning of May. And we'll have to see. 5 wins for Paul. Is looking for number 6. He won last Friday night at Atlanta. He starts in the 9th position, and he is your points leader coming into this race based on the bonus points. All those wins that he got, 3 points for each win, and he got 9 points for being second in the championship standings coming into the chase. So 24 points for him. And he is 6 points ahead of Ludovic Schreck coming into this one. 7 points behind is Duncan Ward, but Duncan starts all the way back in the 33rd starting position. Travis Crampton is 14 behind. Lord Chung and Isaac Nichols are both 15 points behind. And then you got Nathan Smith, 16 behind. Kirsten Bell, 17 behind. Logan Williams, 21 behind. Avery Alford, 23 behind. And our 2 wildcard drivers of Andrew Miller and Jack Haas, both 24 points behind coming into this race. Essentially, this is as close as they're all going to get at any point this season. And we'll definitely see in these last 10 races of the year who's going to have the advantage once we get down to Darlington in the Melialo Southern 500. It's Ludovic Schreck starting on the pole position in the number 51 for Groton Autosport alongside her Thomas Troxel, winner of this race a year ago, to the outside pole. And Pacific Racing had a great run in qualifying as Blaine Keys will start third alongside Angel Gutierrez. I believe it's the first time he made the Fast 6 all season. 29th in the points, looking for only his second top 10 of the season. Logan Williams made the chase for the first time in his career. He'll start in the 5th position alongside Nathan Smith. And you got Philip Torres and Bernardo de Oliveira there in row number 4. There's Daniel Paulus Jr. alongside Eric Monaco, who almost beat Daniel Paulus Jr. on Tuesday night in the winner's showdown. Watch out for both of those drivers as this race goes along. Travis Crampton, chase driver, starts 12th. Kirsten Bell starts in the 14th position. Jack Haas starts in 18th. Lord Chung starts 21st. Isaac Nichols starts in the 24th position. Avery Alford starting in 26th. And then Andrew Miller, I think I may have skipped right there. I think Isaac Nichols is starting in the, let's see, we got 12th, 14th, 18th, 20th. No, 22nd and 24th. Yeah, Nichols is 22nd. And Avery Alford is 24th. Lord Chung starts in the 19th position. I kind of lost where it was there in the middle, but I know you've got it, Stuart. And you'll see that on the side there as well. Andrew Miller back in 29th and Duncan Ward back in 33rd. 67 laps in this race, 1 pit stop. A lot of time for you to work your way from the back to the front, but this is a difficult place to make a pass. The inside lane works very well in 1 and 2, but in 3 and 4, that outside lane is where you want to be, so creates a very unique racetrack and very unique racing experience here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here in the SiriusXM 400. And Stuart, and then Nathan, who do you guys think's going to victory lane here in tonight's SiriusXM 400 from the Chicagoland Speedway?
Well, you'd be a bold person to pick against Daniel Paulus Jr. with the way he's going. I think he's, 9 consecutive top 5 finishes, and of course you mentioned the dominance on the intermediates. He's got 5 wins on the year. He starts from 9th. I think he's one of those guys that can, make these passes and collect him up in the front. So I'm going to pick 54.
Well, I think he's going to get second here tonight. I'm going to go with a little bit of a bold pick here, but give me a driver that is 15th in points. Didn't make the chase somehow, but I think he could steal a win in these final 10 races. Give me Blaine Keys to get the win here tonight.
We'll see how it goes. Both Pacific cars missing the chase, but they came up very strong in qualifying last night. And they're going to have a good opportunity here, I feel like, in this SiriusXM 400. We always call this kind of the wild card mile-and-a-half race on the schedule, and I think that is very much the case. And we'll see how wild it does get. But we got Ludovic Schreck, our defending champion, looking to lead us off here as the 2025 chase for the Wawa Cup begins here tonight on the 4th of July. Happy July 4th to all the Americans out there. We're Green Flag Racing here at Chicagoland Speedway in the SiriusXM 400. Well, they got through the first lap cleanly, and Blaine Keys got to the lead cleanly. He leads lap number 1 as a non-chase driver here in this SiriusXM 400. Ludovic Schreck, Logan Williams is third, Nathan Smith, Thomas Troxel, Eric Monaco As for the race lead, Ludovic Stret trying to get to the inside of Blaine Keys for the top spot. Blaine on the outside lane, trying to hold the advantage up top, and they're side by side here on lap number 2.
And you can see the outside lane. You can see the run that Blaine got on that outside off of turn 4 was just enough to keep Ludovic behind, heading down into turns 1 and 2. But now Ludovic back to the inside with a little bit of assistance from Logan Williams, and that's you get these kind of pushes to work your way past someone, and that's going to make all the difference. Ludovic's going to take the lead back. But look at all this. I mean, this is a hornet's nest back in here. You've got Gutierrez on the outside, Travis Crampton trying to work his way forward, and the 45 of Monaco working his way on the outside. Hey, he ran very well in the winner's showdown. Keep an eye on that 45.
Blaine able to hold the outside lane, still lead this race. Ludovic's doing all she can to get by this 32. I think she's finally got it here. But Logan Williams and Nathan Smith both have very quick cars. And how about Gutierrez and Monaco as they're 3 wide for second? Logan Williams splitting the middle between Blaine and Nathan Smith, and Logan's going to be able to get out of that one in the best position. Crampton and Paulus kind of stuck on the inside lane. There's just not enough grip down there, and that's a very unique thing about the Chicagoland Speedway. As for the race lead, Logan Williams looking to the inside of Ludovic Charette, trying to get the advantage on the inside lane there at the exit of turn 2. Not enough grip. Just like I said, not enough grip on that inside lane. They're still 3 wide behind as Blaine looks to have a nose to the inside of Logan Williams here for second.
And that's the unique thing about Chicagoland Speedway. There's easily 2 lanes that you can run, but the outside lane has a little bit more grip, and that's what we are seeing. A little bit of a bump and one action on the mile and a half right there, and Nathan Smith could be a sleeper in this championship. And how about Angel Gutierrez? Did a fantastic job in qualifying and is still winning inside the top 5. A little bit of a hornet's nest early on, but it looks like it's all settling down a little bit. Double files out the entire field, though. Why do I say that? Which one moves a car out of the way, but a clean start, luckily, here in this one.
Yeah, thankfully they've kept it together for now, but still a hornet's nest back here. A couple of the chasers who did not get good qualifying efforts, Andrew Miller, Avery Alford, and Duncan Ward. And Duncan Ward trying to move his way up through the field up to 28th. Avery Alford slipping back to 29th. Andrew Miller is actually doing a halfway decent job. He's up to 24th. Still a long ways left to go in this race, of course, but it is a difficult place to really move your way from the back to the front, and those guys are going to struggle as this race goes along. Kirsten Bell also struggling, same with Laura Chung, midway through the field. And at this point, if you make the Wawa Cup Series Chase, you have to lock in and just be one of the best drivers. And that's what Ludovic Charette did last year with you guys there at Crown Autosports Tour. And here she is leading this field with Logan Williams running second. Great run for Logan, who was second last week at Atlanta. Blaine Keys, Nathan Smith, Angel Gutierrez. That is the top 5 right now, with Eric Monaco, Thomas Troxel, Travis Crampton, Fernando de Oliveira, and Daniel Paulus Jr. rounding out the top 10. Chris Paulus, when he won at Kansas, really wasn't up front a majority of that race. Near the end of the run, though, came through and won that event. Jack Cos looking for 11th there on Bryce Egan. Isa Nichols just inside the top 15. Laura Chung trying to move her way through the field. These chasers are all over the place, but it's the defending champion leading this field here in the SiriusXM 400.
Yeah, Ludovic's done a nice job. Once she got past the 32, been able to hold that lead despite the challenge from Williams, and Logan hasn't gone to victory lane as of yet. He's one of the 2 chase drivers, along with Avery Alford, to have not won a points race. Of course, Alford won the Open last time out. But Logan's someone that has been very competitive. He's been up front in a lot of these races. He's deserved to make the chase this year. He's doing a very, very nice job. And we've seen here at Chicagoland how much qualifying makes a big difference, because it is hard to overtake. Paulus is down in 10th. Ward, Ward's the just inside the top 20, top 25 by this point. Alford struggling. Andrew Miller, these guys. It is hard to overtake, but one guy that's done a good job is Jack Haas. He started 18th. He's now up inside the top 10 if he can get around Paulus.
And he will, in fact, get around Paulus right there. Paulus might drive on that outside and get it back alongside him, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And Jack Haas up inside the top 10. And he's got a chip on his shoulder from what happened to him last week at Atlanta. He had a second-place run going for him. And, something happened in our first caution of the night, and LJ Semedo. No caution. That happened at the back of the field. We were still green. Did they throw the yellow as they came around to the 71? They did not. So we remain green. It looks like it was Roberto Crown Jr. and LJ Semedo that got into it at the back of the field. No one was coming alongside, and we remain green here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Going to see that in the corner of your screen. That's a heartbreaker for those two drivers right there. Tough way to end the night if you're LJ Semedo. Been a tough season for LJ. He actually won the pole for this race 2 years ago. And made the chase 2 years ago there with Titan Fury. Not at all the case for him this year. So, really doesn't do much in terms of our leaders, but tough break for those guys there in the back of the field.
Well, I kind of jinxed it when I said that it was a nice and calm start. Well, there we had some kind of an incident, tough play for a little bit till Clown Jr. And I think for LJ, am I just going to separate mechanical failure? Because he just stopped it off of turn 2, so that's a tough play for those two. And you know what? This is spot from Blink Keys. It looks like he dropped back a little, only in third, and he might have been saving his tires. And now he's on the attack on second place. Keys and Local Millions.
Great battle here for second, and they're keeping pace with Ladovic as well. You know, this is a racetrack where getting that pull off the car ahead of you is very, very significant. You want to make sure you get that air and get that toe, and so what we saw in qualifying, it's why Angel Gutierrez got in this position, but he's remaining in that top 5. He's got a fast car tonight. Done an excellent job. And other guys making some moves, though. Travis Crampton now up to the 7th position, looking for 6th there on Eric Monaco. You got to give Monaco a lot of credit. Had a great run at Pocono, almost won the Winter Showdown. He may be one of the best drivers now in the series in that 45 Uncharted machine for Racing Motorsports. He's definitely the best driver at Racing Motorsports right now. And of course, come time for the Valvoline 400, you know that he's going to be up there going for a race victory at Daytona. In the sweet Daytona this year. Blaine once again trying to make a move on Logan Williams. He may actually have the grip on the inside this time to make that move. Still side by side, and that's exactly what Ladovic wants to see in her rearview mirror. Still dominating this race here in the SiriusXM 400.
And I tell you what, another guy that wants to see these guys continue to battle is Nathan Smith, the 06. He's now, closing right back in. It's a 4-horse race because they've dropped Gutierrez. So the 06 has done a good job qualifying inside that fast 6 and has remained up at the front of the field and remained with the 95, the 32, and the 51. So, he's still within a chance of winning this race. He's done a very nice job, Nathan Smith, because he was outside of the top 10 in points for a lot of the year, but made his way in late on and solidly made the chase. So he's done a good job, and right now the 3rd highest chaser. I'm pretty sure he'd be happy with that, as you see the battling continues on behind.
Crampton, Jack Haas, and Paulus kind of all around that top 10. Same with Isaac Nichols as well in the 6th machine, and Laura Chung trying to join that battle. Kirsten Bell's fallen off a little bit right there, and still not much movement in the back. Duncan Ward has moved up a little bit. He's now up to 23rd. Andrew Miller has slipped back in the 86 down to the 27th position, and Avery Alford 28th. But all 12 of our chasers are still in this race and on the lead lap as Blaine once again. He just keeps on getting a move in the turn number 3, and he's done a pretty good job at trying to stay alongside this 95. And in terms of the race win, all you got to do is beat him at the line for the position. But Blaine has yet to be able to do so. We'll see if he can make this move on Logan Williams and maybe try to close in on Ladovic Charette and have a shot at his first win of the season, his 30th career win on the channel. He's still going for it here for Pacific Racing.
And one thing I've noticed oh my goodness, that was tight, is that Blaine Keys has a really good car when it's single file in 1 and 2, and he's able to fill up a 1 down into turn 3. But once he gets side by side with Williams, he cannot make the pass, and that's just the tricky thing about Chicagoland. I think if he can make the pass, he could have something for Ladovic, but someone that could have a little piece of the hat is Nathan Smith as well here in this one on the long one, and we're only halfway through this view one roughly, so still got a lot of time to manage the tires, manage this car, and maybe get some more positions. And speaking of which, Nathan Smith going to try and take 3rd from Keith, but that 32 is looking really strong here on the middle point of this one.
He's fallen off just a little bit there from Logan Williams, so he's going to have to be careful here not to let Nathan Smith dispose of him too quickly. And this is the part of the race tires are worn out. It is hard to make passes here on this racetrack once you get to this point in the race, but we will have a cycle of pit stops coming up. A little bit past halfway, around the lap 36, lap 38 mark, 3 wide. As I say, it's hard to make passes. They go 3 wide for position. How about Duncan Ward in the 23? And he's about to put himself in the top 20 right here. So even though it was a poor qualifying effort, this 23 may be one of the fastest cars in the racetrack at the moment, trying to work his way up front, trying to stay within a good distance of Paulus and Charette in this title race. Of course, the way it's going right now, the way they currently run, he would lose a significant amount of points to both drivers. Now Crampton slipping back just a little bit. Paulus, or should I say Jack Haas, to the inside of him right there. As Paulus down in the 11th position still in that 54 machine. Not exactly the race we expected him to have here tonight. But Logan Williams has been doing an excellent job, and he's got a nose to the inside of Ludovic Charette for the race lead. That inside lead's not going to work in turns 3 and 4, and that actually may bring Blaine right into contention for this second position. A bad entry there for the 95 in the turn 3. And Ludovic's going to hold on to the race lead for now. We may get into lap traffic. Roberto Crown Jr. got caught up in the accident. They're down 26 seconds off the race lead, and Blaine Keys has a good shot here down the backstretch to the inside of Logan Williams.
Yeah, that's going to cost Logan. We'll see if he can hold it into through turns 3 and 4. Looks like he will be able to. Will Blaine come up and clear him? He does. That's a big move for Blaine Keys. He needed to get around Logan. He's been trying all he could, and finally got past. And you saw how much time that Logan lost trying to make that pass on Charette. It was just too much there for the 95. He lost a heap of ground. That's a big result for the 32 in terms of winning this race. Of course, he's got nothing to play for other than just spoiling the chase grid.
He's got the Cancun Cup.
It does have the Cancun Cup. I forgot about that.
Outside of the name, I think is actually a pretty cool concept what Matt's doing. And the 10 drivers who just missed the chase, they are going against each other. And right now, I think it would be 25 points because he's doing F1 points. He's going crazy with it for Blaine Keys in the Cancun Cup right now. Which the name, I would probably have a more serious name. But the concept is a lot of fun, so keep an eye on that. We're going to follow that, and it's going to be kind of fun. But, of course, our main focus is on the Wawa Cup Series Championship, and Ludovic Charette, looking for only her second win of the season, has a good opportunity at starting this chase correctly. And she has led most of the laps so far, more laps than anybody else. Blaine led the first few, and then Ludovic took the race lead, and that has been it so far. She's going to try to get to the inside of Roberto Crown Jr. there. Put Roberto a lap down in the 81. Back in here, Bernardo de Oliveira with another solid run there for Runt Racing. Travis Crampton, Jack Haas battling there. Paulus has gotten back in the top 10, and you got Isaac Nichols there. As Troxel's fallen back a little bit in the 62 machine. Laura Chung slipping back in the 20. And Duncan Ward still battling with Sam Vitale and Sam Adio and Trey Bartow back in here. Carson Miller, uncharted driver there in the 50. Great battling here as back up front, and that's all you got to do. Charette couldn't get around Roberto Crown Jr., and Blaine Keys has taken the race lead away here in lap 29, back away from Ludovic Charette.
I was about to say that the lap call of Roberto Crown Jr. was involved in that accident that did not play out yellow, and that was allowing Blaine Keys to close in really, really fast, and he was able to take the race lead. And I will say I did pick him to win, and that's 50-50. Either that driver wins or something happens to him. So hopefully that is on the right side for Blaine Keys for his sake. And you mentioned the whole cup thing. It's basically the Best of the West championship, and it's a very quiet year. So aside from that one, I'm excited for pit stops because I'm getting closer and closer to that, and that could be very crucial here tonight.
Absolutely could, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the cycle of pit stops affects these guys. Now, you may remember in races past here at Chicagoland Speedway, pit stalls 2, 3, and 4 tend to get penalized a bit more frequently than the others. So what we have done, those drivers who started in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th position, they have pit stalls at the back of the pit lane, which do not get penalized, or at least they shouldn't. And we gave the pit stalls that do tend to get penalized to the drivers who started 40th, 41st, and 42nd. So my apologies to those drivers at Hamill Racing Enterprises. I know you've been through enough already this year. But at least for Rogel's case, he gets to drive that Velocity truck in the Truck Series here in a few weeks. So I know he's looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to the cycle of pit stops because it's going to determine who gets this race victory. And any of these three guys especially can easily win here tonight. Logan Williams has had an excellent run in this 95 machine. Nathan Smith getting held up by Roberto Crown Jr. Lap traffic is always a big key here at Chicagoland, and Gutierrez looking for 4th. This is an amazing run out of Angel Gutierrez and Eric Monaco. Both top 5 right now. You got Crampton there, trying to move his way into the top 5 in that 98 machine. Great run for Crampton. But with Ladovic and Logan in their positions, yeah, every point matters in this championship. Ladovic got an extra point, of course, for winning the pole in this race, so she's still looking to take that points lead going in the Road America, a race she won last year. Halfway through the SiriusXM 400 for Blaine Keys and Pacific Racing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Blaine was able to do, obviously making the most of Ladovic getting stuck with the 81, but this car, I mean, I don't know where this has been all year. I mean, we saw that Troxels obviously won a couple of races, won the season open, won at Texas. Oh, that's close there with Nichols trying to get to the inside of Jack Haas. They almost made a bit of contact, but they still can't get around the 81. It looks like right now it's going to be one of those top 3 guys because they're, fourth on back are losing time hand over fist, I should say. But, with Pacific, it's really quite interesting. This car, obviously they won at Auto Club, they won at Texas, but it hasn't quite had the race winning speed anywhere else. It's been really quite bizarre. And here we go. We're going to pit stops because the 81's coming down, Logan Williams is coming down, Ladovic's coming down, Blaine's staying out. So strategy, will those fresh tyres come into play and will that benefit the 51 of the 95?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because you got that gaggle of cars that got kind of stuck behind Roberto Crown Jr. right there, and a lot of these guys are going to be coming out of the pit lane here. So if you're Blaine Keys, I don't know, what do? You want to stay out a little bit longer and hope you get a caution? He's going to come down now. You guys have to be very careful coming down the pit lane right here because this is going to get... boy, that got interesting, and somehow they figured it out, but they're going to lose a lot of time. I think Jack Haas tried to come down the pit lane. Now all these guys are completely held up. Here comes Duncan Ward trying to get some positions made here, and they've got to be careful. And you're going to have drivers coming off the pit lane as well here once this all cycles through. Kirsten Bell, Laura Chung in the middle of all this, and if you're Jack Haas, just one thing after another for this 39 team. And that's been the case all season for these guys. They had to fall back on the win and fall back on the wild card. A lot of these guys are going to come down the pit lane right here. Duncan Ward, Laura Chung going to stay out even longer as Ladovic and Logan Williams are off the pit lane. There's Ladovic. Where's Logan? Where's that 95 of Logan Williams? He came down the pit lane right there in the 95 machine, and I don't know where he is. There he is. I think he jumped. Okay. Did he jump him?
I think so.
We'll see. I reckon the 95 had a great pit stop. The 51 had a slow pit stop, and Logan's now well out ahead.
Still really can't quite tell there. It is showing the 95 is ahead of the 51 right now, and you are correct. A little bit of a slower stop on Charette. She didn't lose too much time, so it wasn't a penalized pit stop like we saw with Blaine Keys last year in this race. She had that number 1 pit stall, but a bit slower. Yeah, but you can see it just same straightaway, but that 95 went way quicker than the 51. And I believe Logan Williams is going to cycle to the race lead once this is all said and done. You still have the 20 and the 52 who have yet to come down. I think they just came down the pit lane. And same goes for Duncan Ward in the number 23. But Logan Williams in the 95 out front here at the Chicagoland Speedway, gained about 5 seconds there on the 51 machine on that pit stop. They came down the same time. That is a very interesting strategy right there. And I'm wondering if Logan maybe went 2 tires instead of 4 to gain that time. And will we see Ladovic close in as this run goes along? Regardless of the fact Logan Williams, looking for his first win of the season, is out front here in the opening race of the Chase in the Wawa Cup Series.
Yeah, he's in a obviously very good position. I do think it was just a poor pit stop from the 51, to be completely truthful. I have noticed some things about the pit crew as of late. Looks like Brian Webb's got a problem in the 43.
You've got yourself to blame for that.
Yeah, I do have myself to blame.
Logan's got to be careful right here. Getting in the Rogel Dorn, and we have seen just how difficult it is to make passes here at the Chicagoland Speedway, even with the lap traffic. And Logan's not happy at all with this 74 machine, and he's got to be careful not to take himself out here. Blaine's closing in quickly on the race lead as Logan Williams going to try to get around this 74. Here comes Blaine in the 32. And I think Logan's going to finally get a nose to the inside of Rogel Dorn right there. not going to be happy with that 74 once this is all said and done. Lost about a second there to Blaine Keys. Third place is Ludovic Charette in the 51. Eric Monaco is fourth. Travis Crampton is fifth. Tanner Pardon, unfortunately, a lap down. He has not had a good run in this race. And right there with his teammate, though, they're on different laps. Paulus battling with Gutierrez and Nathan Smith. They are all 6th, 7th, and 8th, respectively. Isaac Nichols and Carson Miller rounds out the top 10. Remember, you had a lot of these guys who jammed up, trying to come down the pit lane. And Nathan Smith just blew up in the 06. Mechanical failure on the 06 and Nathan Smith.
Out.
And somehow they all avoid him right there, but will this be a yellow flag here at the Chicagoland Speedway? That is such a heartbreaker there for the 06, and Nathan Smith had such a good run going for him in this race. And his night will end, and he will finish in the... he's probably going to finish in the 45th position after this one. Will it be a yellow? He's on the apron, and we will remain green here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Wow, that is such a heartbreaker there. As for the race lead, Blaine Keys and Logan Williams are going after it. Blaine was only 6/100ths behind. Another.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
And
Alexander Rowe this time around. What's going on at GRT?
Oh my goodness.
Careful. That could have been really disastrous there with Brian Webb. That was so close. He's on the apron. I don't think there'll be a yellow. They haven't thrown a yellow for anything tonight.
Yeah, they are not throwing it out, and they're deep enough on the apron where it's not an issue. Oh boy, that was Nathan Smith first, and then Alexander Rowe. And if you're Ludovic Charette or Daniel Paulus Jr. at this point, you're on pins and needles right now. At any point, that car could explode. The way what we've seen here tonight at Chicagoland. As for the race lead again, Blaine to the inside of Logan Williams for the top position. Neither driver has gone to victory lane yet this season, and they both got 5.5 seconds on third place.
It's almost like the car's too weak on them with just exploding engines here tonight. This is wild. That was 2 laps, with 2 fullest going up in smoke, so every 4 laps people lead, especially with the GLT cars. But you know who's happy right now, and that is Caleb Bowles in that number, the owner of Logan Williams, and you know. Shout out to Caleb, but he's going to be going trucking this fall with the truck series, the side for that. And side by side again, Blaine Keys and Logan Williams. And it's ironic for Keys, both times he's been able to close in to the race leader, it was because of the lap car here tonight.
And he's going to take it right there from Logan Williams. Blaine Keys to the lead here at Chicagoland Speedway. And Blaine's got a rocket ship here tonight in this race. And, you know, that's been the story of Pacific Racing this season. You know, all of a sudden they'll just show up and they'll have a really good car. That was the case at Texas earlier this season. Logan's going to try to close back in. He's got a good shot at making a move here to the inside in turn 1. Not going to do so. Going to stay... Oh, maybe? Maybe not. Going to try to stay right with that 32 machine. 5.4 seconds down to Ludovic. Eric Monaco, Travis Crampton. And oh, look now, here comes Daniel Paulus Jr. The way they currently run, he would still remain the points leader here in the Wawa Cup Series, though. Logan would close in quite a bit with a race victory, but he's got to win the race to get all those extra points. Still a great run for Logan regardless. Blaine Keys, you know, we keep talking, when will he get his 30th career win on the channel? Join the 30-win club, which is only taken up by Nicholas Samedeo and Zachary Fitzwater. Blaine had a great run to open up the Body Armor Pro Series season. But that was it for this year. And looking to get it done here tonight. Will he have enough in him to get this race victory? Lap traffic could very well come into play again. You got Zachary Fitzwater and Drew Webb closing in on this 32 machine. Interesting race here tonight. You got Isaac Nichols in 7th. Angel Gutierrez still top 10. Carson Miller and Bryce Egan. That is the top 10. And Jack Haas there in 13th. Duncan Ward's rebounding fairly well. Same with Andrew Miller. All right there around the 15th position. Kiersabel, Laura Chung's fallen off a little bit there, just inside the top 20. Avery Alford is 22nd. And then Nathan Smith, the only chase driver who has had an issue here tonight in terms of failing to finish the race, down in 41st. That is going to hurt him tremendously in terms of this championship. Back up front, Logan Williams trying to close back in on Blaine Keys as Blaine has closed up to Fitzwater for this top spot. It's going to be a great fight to the finish here in the SiriusXM 400 at Chicagoland.
Yeah, Fitzwater's been hard to pass on occasion this year in terms of when he's been lapped. So it's something that if you're playing, you've got to be careful of. But it's a really difficult thing to bounce because you've got Logan right on the back bumper and now going to the inside. They may go 3 wide for the lead here with Fitzwater maybe on the outside of the lap car. Fitzwater's going to come down in front, and Logan, he's not going to be able to get the run.
Yeah, too far inside to make that work. Blaine will remain out front here on lap 54 up 67. We got ourselves 14 laps to go here at the Chicagoland Speedway. So far, it's been a caution-free race. Ironically, it's been a caution-free race at 3 instances where it should have been a caution at this point. But we've had a great one. It's been a great race up front. Ladovic under fire from Eric Monaco for the 3rd position. And how about Eric Monaco, our Daytona 500 champion, battling with Ladovic, Charette, Travis Crampton, and Daniel Paulus Jr. here for the 3rd position. Tanner Pardon a lap down, mixing it up with these drivers as well, kind of getting in the way there, I think. Monaco still battling hard there. That 45's got a lot of speed, and this is almost what we saw out of Blaine Keys last year, I feel like. And this is the driver combination with the owner that's worked out very well over there at Racing Motorsports. Ladovic almost going 3 wide on the outside, and Paulus looking to take advantage of all of this happening. Great battle here for the 3rd position at Chicagoland Speedway.
Great battle.
Yeah, these cars...
Oh, sorry. But yeah, a fantastic battle, and that's what... Luckily, we've not seen too much chaos, and it's been going, I think Monaco, we can get past, but go would be a massive step in the right direction. Daniel Paulus Jr., don't... Oh my god, thank you.
That was tight.
That was a little bit too tight, if you ask me, but great speed from Taylor. I know he's not like on the lead lap, but he's keeping up with the top 5, so at least that car is fast. But Daniel Paulus Jr. is not going to be a win, but I think it could be a top 5 1 for him here tonight.
Once again, keep that streak alive. He gets around Crampton, that would be the case. Monaco all over the back bumper, Ladovic right there. Yeah, they have been aggressive here tonight, and I'm surprised that they have not taken each other out at any point here. And Blaine got around Fitzwater, and Logan Williams still stuck behind the 99 machine. A line of lap cars coming up ahead for the number 32 machine of Blaine Keys. We'll see if that becomes an issue. 10 laps to go, going to be 9 laps to go. This time by for Blaine Keys in the SiriusXM 400 at Chicagoland. Here comes Logan Williams. Looking to the inside there for... Well, to put Fitzwater a lap down, trying to get around this 99 so he can close back in on Blaine. He will easily make that move. That's where you want to make the move, going in the turn number 1. Travis Crampton looking to do that on Eric Monaco. Closing in on the 45 machine. And you got Paul still there, battling for position. Isaac Nichols content in 7th. Duncan, oh brother, they got stuck behind Roberto again, and Duncan Ward has taken advantage of these lap cars tonight. He's now in the top 10 in that 23 machine, and what a rebound for him after that poor qualifying effort last night. Troxel, Gutierrez, Jack Haas, and Roberto really getting in the way of these guys now, and the lap cars are going to be a huge topic after this race is done. These guys here, a lot of them chasers, shuffling for position back in here. They've got to be careful not to get caught up in a wreck this late in the race. Blaine does not want to see that. He's got a great advantage at the moment, but you got 3 lap cars about to get in the way. Though it's a 2-second lead now for the 32 of Blaine Keys here at Chicagoland Speedway, coming to 6 laps to go.
One thing we forget about Blaine is that he probably should have a win at this stage in the year. He probably should have won Bristol, or at least have a better finish than what he got at Bristol. And there are other races, like Texas was another one that he led a lot of laps in. They obviously went to Troxel, but he's been threatening to win a race at points throughout the year. It's just been consistency at times has not been a strong suit, and there have been a lot of other factors that have been a part of that. So he looks pretty well set to do it at the moment. 2 seconds ahead of Logan, and a non-chaser winning the first race in the chase, I think, goes to show that the field is pretty close. I mean, even the guys that didn't make the chase, they could still win races on their day, and looks like Blaine's going to do it, although he is stuck behind Ribbleton. 5 laps to go. Can Williams close in and make a pass?
He barely closed in that lap. tires are really starting to even out for a lot of these guys, and I think we're getting to the point where even if Logan can get up to Blaine, it's going to be hard to make that pass. And you know, Blaine Keys, I think everyone thought he was going to make the chase at the beginning of the season. Felt like a lock-in to make the chase, and he didn't. There's definitely a lot of questions there. Pacific Racing, what went wrong? Why is Blaine in this position? Almost won the championship last year, couldn't even make the chase this year. Well, he's got himself 4 laps to go to win this SiriusXM 400 to open up the chase as a non-chase driver, but he's got to get around J.R. Ribbleton, or otherwise Logan Williams going to close right in and have a shot at this race victory. Going to be 3 laps to go next time by. Trying to punt that 82 out of the way, but just can't get that inside lane to work. And Blaine's got to be careful because Logan's going to have a shot at this one here, coming to 3 laps to go.
And we've seen this twice tonight, but the shoe was on the other foot. It was first Ladova and then Logan who got caught by Blaine Keys because of a lap car. And now Blaine Keys has to get past this 82 if he wants to secure his race win here tonight.
2 laps to go next time by. I don't think he necessarily has to get around Ribbleton to win this race, but he can't lose too much time to him. The problem is, for Logan at least, he doesn't quite have the speed as Monaco is down the pit lane. A problem on the 45 late in the going. What a shame for him right there. He had himself a top 5 run going, and whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm going to click the right button for that. Engine damage. Engine damage on that car. Well, here we go. White flag is in the air in the SiriusXM 400 for Blaine Keys and Pacific Racing. They missed the chase. And here they are with an opportunity getting their first win of the season for Blaine. It'll be the 3rd win for Pacific Racing as a whole. Logan's going to try to do all he can on this last lap, though, to close right in on this 32 machine and have a shot at this race victory. But I don't think it's going to be enough. And Blaine Keys will get his 30th career win on the channel here tonight in the Wawa Cup Series as a non-chase driver to open the chase. Blaine Keys wins the SiriusXM 400 here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Logan Williams will be 2nd. Ladovic, Crampton, and Paulus with a top 5 run. Isaac Nichols, Duncan Ward, Thomas Troxel, Jack Haas, and Carson Miller, the top 10.
Well, I'll tell you what, man of the match, Duncan Ward, from 33rd to 7th. That is a fair effort at this racetrack.
That was a very good one. And Duncan actually won the Sprint Series here last year. Kind of historically been a good racetrack for him. Wow.
Makes you wonder what he could have done if he qualified better, to be honest with you.
Well, how about that for Blaine Keys? And definitely a huge weight lifted off of that Pacific Racing team. I know both drivers failed to make the chase, but they got a double top 10 and the race victory here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway. And, man, if Blaine now's thinking, man, if I only made the chase, I'd have a good shot at this championship, but 30th career win, finally, for Blaine Keys, who went crazy last year, won 6 races last year in this Wawa Cup Series. Finally gets his first one in the 23rd race of the season, but he dominated this race, had a great car. Logan also had a very good car as well in that 95. If it weren't for the lap traffic, he may have held on, but I think that 32 was faster regardless. Ladovic still had a great night, and Ladovic and Paulus, they're going to still be up there. Ladovic, it's going to be, I think, 2 points between those two guys, because Ladovic led them, actually, might only be 1 point, because she got the pole, she led a lap, and I think she might have led the most laps in this race as well. So it's going to be a 1 point difference between Paulus and Charette at that rate, but how about Paulus keeping up that top 5 streak? You know, it's going to be harder for him to win the championship at this rate with all these guys closed up on each other. He's got to be at a high level, but still a great run for Paulus. Great run for Isaac. Great run for Duncan Ward. Great run for Jack Haas, all top 10. A little further back, here's Isabel, Andrew Miller, Laura Chung. You can't be finishing 15th, 16th, 17th in this chase consistently, and expect to win the championship. Same with Avery Alford there in 21st. And then, of course, Nathan Smith was going to finish top 5 in this race, and the camshaft going bad. 4 mechanical failures. Eric Monaco as well had a great run going for him. Alex in a row, LJ Semedo. What a race, guys. That was a lot of fun. One of the, I would dare say, one of the best races of the year in terms of how competitive it actually was based on what we've seen this season. Blaine and Logan, neither of them had gone to victory lane yet this season, and they were 2 of the best drivers here tonight in the SiriusXM 400 at Chicagoland.
Well, absolutely. Nathan, unfortunately, has dropped out with his internet, I think, maybe because he's not here anymore. But in terms of what we saw tonight, as I said, it's a very even competition, very even series where you get a non-chaser to do what he did tonight. Obviously, Blaine Keys, we know how good Blaine is, but for him to go out and win the race and win it the way he did. I mean, he was 2 seconds up on Logan, and he was a fair way behind Logan after pit stops as well. So he got up there on merit and made the passes that Logan, didn't really. He couldn't get around the lap traffic quick enough, and that was probably one of the biggest differences. Same with Ludovic. Couldn't get around the 81. 32 made the opportunity count, I should say. So he's definitely a deserving winner, and as you mentioned, win number 30, and he's got. I think this is his 9th Cup Series win. I think he takes that back away from Drew Webb as the winningest driver in the series now. So, he's getting closer to 10. So it's a good result, very good result for him, obviously, and a bit of a spoils sport here in the chase. But in terms of the chase drivers, clearly Nathan Smith, the biggest loser with that mechanical issue. Nothing he could have done. That's it's not his fault, obviously, with the camshaft. 3 cars with camshaft issues. We assumed the 71. We haven't actually seen the replay yet, but he probably had a mechanical issue that may have caused that incident on lap 12. And I thought, the championship's pretty close here at the moment, which is fantastic. Paulus again got a top 5, but Ludovic finished ahead. Logan finished ahead. Crampton finished ahead, and of course Crampton was 4th in points. Logan was a bit further back, but. They're all going to gain a bit of ground on the 54, and hopefully we get a very nice close chase, and hopefully I'd like to see the 51 in victory lane more often, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I just have to see. It's going to be a great chase, and next week Railroad America, so you might see that 51 in victory lane because she has won 3 of the last 4 road course races, and she finished 2nd in the one she didn't win, and your other guy won that one. So. Y'all are great on the road courses. The Road America can be a little interesting because, remember, Eric Monaco won there in the Truck Series over the fall when he really didn't have a good season. Could be a bit of a wild card race as well. And I'm a little concerned about Paulus and Duncan in that regard as well. Will they be up there, or will we see some other guys? It might be a good advantage for Logan Williams. We'll just have to see. He's in the car that's sponsoring the race, the Culver's 400K, next Saturday at noon Eastern Time, right here on AG, the channel. Gonna be a lot of fun there at Road America. One of my favorite road courses. I'd love to visit there someday in real life. Maybe we'll get up there at some point in real life. But regardless of the fact, Blaine Keys gets it done here at the Chicagoland Speedway. His first win of the season, even though he didn't make the chase. He's got his 30th career win on the channel. And he joins Nicholas Amedeo and Zachary Fitzwater as the only 3 drivers who have gone to victory lane 30 times here on AG, the channel, over the past decade. Thank you guys so much for watching. A huge thanks to Nathan Stapleton and Stuart Gren for joining me here tonight from Chicagoland Speedway. Happy 4th of July. Don't explode your hand off. Don't hold a firework with it going off. Don't be stupid with that. Just be safe with fireworks, okay? Things happen. Just be safe with them. But Blaine Keys probably going to be shooting some fireworks off tonight, celebrating his first win of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after the first race of the chase after 23 races this season. And on behalf of Stuart Gratton and Nathan Stapleton, once again, congratulations to Blaine Keys, and I will see you guys later.